Well, Nimesh, I know your parents left India in the 1970s, and was that because socialism is a failed system that destroyed India? And actually, it's great in theory, but it doesn't ever work in practice, as demonstrated by Indian socialism.
That was actually the last thing my dad said before he got on the planes. Like, socialism has failed. I'm gonna go be a capitalist in India. I mean, in Newark, New Jersey. No, I mean, they left for the same reason any immigrants leave, for a better opportunity, I guess. And I think in India at the time, late 70s, what had happened when the Brits left India in 1947, after they left a power vacuum, but they also left this huge system of no one had any idea what to do. So there was a glut of very smart people. Like, people went and got educated. Like, the governments then decided we're going to spend millions and millions of dollars to educate our people, get them jobs, get them degrees in physics and math or whatever. They did not create any jobs for the people that had all these high-end degrees. At the same time, in America, there was a recession happening. There was the Civil Rights Act. There was Vietnam. There was a lot of opportunity.
People needed booze.
Yes. And
no one wanted to study science.
and gas stations.
Yeah, no one wanted to learn how to do surgery.
And there was this whole in America for smart people.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that you had this glut of smart people.
Yeah.
And they all came over, and it was kind of this perfect Indian matchmaking situation that happened. My dad did not have a college degree or anything. He was just here. He was like, well, India's not working out. Let me try to go to America and work. My brother's there. Let me work at the store he's at, save a bunch of money, maybe try to open up my own store. And that's what happened.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting just the idea of like running a business like that. I'm sure the day in and day out of doing that has to be difficult or have its own challenges, or you need special types of talents to
you need to really.
There's probably like 10 drunks waiting for him to open up shop every morning.
Still to this day, it's like, I got to get to work at 10 o'clock. I'm like, who the fuck are you serving at 10 o'clock? He's like, there's customers. Like, they should not be customers, Dad.
Yeah.
You need to send them to fucking
hell. When I would deliver checks down in like Asbury Park and shit, I couldn't, every liquor store, I couldn't leave it if they weren't open yet, because there's like a line, like an hour before they open. Just drunks and shit.
Yeah, people just waiting to get fucked up. And it's like, that's nuts. I think the skill that it requires is patience. And a lot of it's a skill to be content, and a skill to be okay doing a very monotonous kind of thing.
Yeah.
Over and over, and just being like, finding the calm and the dignity in that is a lot of skill that is not necessarily taught in schools or whatever. It's just like an emotional skill.
Yeah.
Or lack of emotion, rather. I don't know what it is, but
Well, it must be weird running a liquor store. Because you'll have regulars, and then you won't see them for a while, and they'll come back, and you'll be like, "What happened?" And they'll say, "Oh, well, I got my life together for a second, and then I got divorced, and now I'm back."
Like, welcome back. There's like a 40% discount. If you do that.
Right.
If you bring in an AA chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just it must be weird to know your regulars, and kind of it's like being a bartender, I guess.
For sure, except they're drinking out of a plastic bottle.
Except they're just it's less social, I guess.
Yeah. They go out, they'll just finish the drink outside of the door.
Yeah.
Hey,
look, you got to consume this in the parking lot, okay? Not in the store.
I remember my dad told me one time he had an alcoholic come in, and I guess it was like one of his last times drinking the way he was, because he had reached a peak where he just came in, bought Everclear, and like took a shot of it, and like went blind, and that was it. Like, like he just went, the final shot. Just took everything. I'm like, Dad, that happened? He's like, yeah, just fucking people drink, dude. I'm like, that's fucking nuts. What a story, dude.
Yeah, but there's something interesting about like doing that with your life and being like, okay, this might not be the most glamorous thing, but you still, you show up every day, and you got to find the joy in it, I guess.
Yeah, it's my dad's just, every time I tell him to stop working, he's like, I love to work. I'm just, it's
really?
just like, he's just like,
and he's there every day. He's behind the
counter,
really 6
days a week.
What does he watch on TV the whole time?
Nothing.
He doesn't have the TV running?
No TV, nothing. It's just,
damn.
I mean, he doesn't own this store. The one he's working at, he just works there.
Oh.
He owns one in Irvington, New Jersey, but like he doesn't go to that one anymore because that's where he had a gun put to his head. So yeah, there's that makes things interesting.
The other fringe benefit of being in a liquor store.
It's the trauma experience and knowing what it's like to be almost dead. I guess that's an eye opening experience for sure. But at the liquor store, it's just constant flow of people, which is odd because I don't know people who buy drinks at like 2 p.m., but people do. Yeah, he just loves to work. And I think it's because like that's where a lot of older school people derive their sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my contribution to society.
Yeah.
And in Hinduism, it says that just work.
It does?
It's like in the Bhagavad Gita, it's like the third page.
Yeah.
It's like do what you think you're supposed to be doing, and don't be attached to the outcomes of your labor. It's just like just do the work, and you will be good with God. And part of me is like, okay, that's a cool thing, but it also seems like it's probably written by some fucking
a guy who worked at a liquor store.
Slave driver.
Yeah.
No, some guy was like, no, God says you should be working every day.
Right.